Hello, everyone. It is taxing on your vehicle, however, and this is to when I was doing rideshare. Again, I no longer do rideshare, but when I was doing it, this is one thing that always arose, even in conversation with some of my clients. They would ask me about, my experience pertaining to the day, and then my experience overall. The one thing that they would say was in question, isn't it taxing on your vehicle? And it was a good question. And doing my research prior to getting involved in the ride share opportunities at the time, that was one of the things that I came across when I was doing my investigation. However, the thing is this: it was always taxing on my car, no matter if I was driving without doing ride share. Like currently, I drive now, and it's taxing on my vehicle. However, that's the reason we have vehicles. I mean, once we pull it off the lot, we already know the rest after that is you use it how you see fit. And the main purpose of having a vehicle is to drive. One can use it however he or she sees fit. Now, in my case, and in all of our cases, those that participate at one time are currently in rideshare, and even the individuals out there that do not, it's still taxing on your vehicle. Now, as most individuals that did rideshare or currently doing rideshare, it is a lot of miles on the car, and that's to be expected. But to get, you have to give. You have to put in work. I mean, to think you're going to have a vehicle and do rideshare and not put in work, then the result would be one complaining about him or her not making any money. I mean, but that's why the benefits of doing rideshare, one of the benefits is you can use it as a tax write-off because you have to get maintenance on your vehicle even if you're not participating in rideshare. So overall, it's taxing on your vehicle. However, if you keep your car up to date, you get the oil change, get the tire rotated, the different spark plugs, keep it clean, keep it fresh. Oh, another key point is staying out of collisions, car accidents. All of those things will keep your car upright. And that's what I was telling my clients when they would get in my back seat and they would ask me about it being taxing on my car. I'm like, yeah, it is taxing. And then I would ask, hey, I know your car is in the shop because I've had some clients at the time tell me that their car was in the shop. And I would ask, hey, once you get your car out the shop, are you going to go back to driving it? And I even asked them prior to, his or her situation, like, was it not taxing on your car? And majority of them would chuckle and be like, that's true. They would say they never thought about it that way. And again, it's no crime. It's no crime. I mean, everything we do behind the wheel is taxing. But as it pertains to rideshare, it's a great taxing. I mean, because it's another opportunity for one to, of course, as I always say, be a service to people. It's also a way for one to be able to benefit his or herself, and you just learn different experiences. I think, though, it's taxing on your vehicle. However, is depending on your mindset and your perspective. One already had the foresight to see that, and if you're benefiting other people as well as yourself, is it really a terrible thing that is taxing on your car? I mean, the way the narrative that some individuals have is like, hey, I'm going to purchase this car and it's just not going to age at all. It's almost like being passive and being scared. As we know, scared money don't make money. And if you don't put in no work, you don't reap any benefits. You just don't. Especially in the rideshare field. I know there's individuals out there, and you all can tell me in the comments below. I mean, how often do you do rideshare? And what's your purpose for doing rideshare? No matter what your purpose is, it's going to be taxing on your vehicle. Am I right or am I wrong? You all can tell me what you think. And I think no matter who's out there currently on the road today doing the rideshare in any form of rideshare where you're using your vehicle, it's taxing on your car. But you know what overrides that? Making money. That would override that. Because the thought is, hey, it's taxing on my car, but I'm making this money. I'm helping individuals. I'm having different experiences. I'm seeing different parts of the city. So if we go back to grade school and we weigh the pros and the cons of doing rideshare, the pros trumps the cons. I mean, you got to be aware, but I mean, what you gonna do? What is one gonna do? There's someone today that needs to earn a certain dollar amount, and one of the ways they can do it is by participating in rideshare. In fact, that's what they're doing. In fact, him or her probably got up at the crack of dawn this morning and started getting to it, depending on how dire the situation was. They weren't thinking about, hey, it's taxing on my vehicle. They were like, hey, I got to get this done for Johnny. I have to get this for myself. I have to get this for the family. And they're making it happen. Because at the conclusion of it all, whatever that individual was getting up for early this morning to do, if it was a dire need, no one is trying to hear the excuses. Let's say it's a family situation going on. Let's say it's his or her kid or his or her wife or husband. They're not trying to hear no excuses. They're not trying to hear like, hey, especially when your significant other know that you have the opportunity to do it and that you've been doing it prior. No one's trying to hear that. No one. Excuses don't get anything done. Excuses don't get anything paid. And the statement that, hey, well, baby, I didn't do ride share today because, I want to take a break because, it's taxing on the car. But hey, there's electricity bill due, or there's a vacation that need to be paid for, or school events for the children that need to get done. But hey, it's taxing on my car. So it's taxing on our vehicle, baby. We only have one vehicle. 9 times out of 10, the significant other's not going to care. And again, the children aren't going to care. And in fact, the man does not care. Or in the sense, the woman doesn't care. Because if it has to get done, then it has to get done. I mean, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Pun is definitely intended. But that's how it goes. What is more taxing, other than your vehicle, is not being able to provide for your family and for yourself. That is more taxing than any miles that doing rideshare could put on the vehicle. Because when you unpack it, just that statement alone, hey, it is taxing on my vehicle. If one ponders for just 5 to 6 minutes, probably less time than that, it's like, oh, you just lazy. You're just lazy. Because again, as I stated at the origin of this video, even individuals that don't do rideshare have to drive their vehicle. It's taxing on their vehicle. What about the individuals that have to do CDL, take shipments and things across the U.S. and all different walks of the land, that are owner operators and have their own trucks? Hey, it's taxing on their vehicle, but it is what it is. That's the cost of doing business. So they're not complaining. And I'm sure once, if their vehicle break down, it's way more expensive and things of that nature. But hey, again, that's the price of being in the game and making things happen, being a participant. And that's the same with rideshare. Again, I don't do it anymore. However, comma, it was taxing on my vehicle, but I was able to have great experiences, have awesome conversations, see different ways of the lands of the city, and I was in control to a degree. I was in control for the most part. And the last thing I was concerned about was it being taxing on my vehicle. Folks that knew me would tell me that, hey, it's taxing on your vehicle, it's taxing on your vehicle. And, we live in the US of A, so I mean everyone can have their opinion, and that's the truth. So I was never tripping about it, but I know that that's like exercising and walking for a long period, and someone said, hey, it's taxing on your body, but you want to work out and do certain things. Like if your body's not in motion, you're gonna put on weight. That's just what it is. And the same thing with your vehicle when doing the ride share opportunities. If you're not driving your vehicle, even if it just sits still too long, it's gonna rust over time. The vehicle may not start because of the battery. The car itself has to be in motion, even though it will be taxing on your vehicle. So yes, I just wanted to bring you all this today. You know, make sure and share this with a friend, a loved one, even an enemy, because even they will be driving their car today, and it will be taxing on their vehicle. However, they will be getting things done. Make sure to comment below. Again, like, share, and subscribe. And you all have a good one. Talk to you all later. Peace.